Hello friends, I'll now show you a demo of Sulabh app 2.0 from a student's perspective. So a student logs into the Sulabh app by entering the mobile number and the password, which is the last four digits of the mobile number. The student can click on the eye icon and see if the password entered is correct, which is 1010, and then say login. Once the student logs in, she is welcomed on the landing page. Her name is Anvita, and what she has to do is look for activity-based learning module. We'll come to the AI-powered translator later. Sulabh app 1.0 is the previous version of the app which was developed specifically for government school teachers. This student, the activity-based learning module or ABLE is what she has to choose by clicking on this icon here. The student will see the courses that have been mapped. We call them curriculum. So this student is mapped to basic level spoken English course light, which has two levels basically. So she will see the first level here, which has three activities. Which animal or bird am I? What plant am I? Which flower, fruit, vegetable am I? So she can choose any one of the activities to start with, but she has to complete all the three activities to complete that particular level, which is level 1. So let's say she starts with which animal or bird am I? So she has to click on start activity. After clicking on start activity, the student has to be encouraged to read the description about the particular activity. So here it's mentioned animals and birds are living things, etc. But as and when the student progresses to level 2, 3, 4, 5, it is very important that they first read the description in detail and then proceed to the activity. So after reading the description, the student has to click on go. If you click on back to overview, you will go back to the previous page. But now the student has to click on go. Once the student clicks on go, you will see the activity starts now. And there are 18 questions for this particular activity. And all the questions have multiple choice answers. Okay. And importantly, you have got a hint. So here the question is, I am a small furry animal and I love Lord Ganesha. So most of the children will know the answer without looking at the hint. But as I said, as and when the student starts progressing to the next levels, the hint comes in very handy. So I have a long tail. Okay, so I really don't know the answer. So I'll say squirrel. Check. It says wrong answer. Then I'll choose rat and say check, and I say correct answer. But remember, the points are given only when the student answers the question right the first time, not the second, third or the fourth time. Only when the student answers the first time, the student gets 10 points. So the points keeps varying. Level 1 has got 10 points, say level 2 has got 15, level 3 has got 20, and so on and so forth. So now the student does not get any points. So she will move to the next question. I am a bird that cannot fly. And the hint is I lay the largest eggs. So the idea behind giving hint is also to improve the general knowledge of the students. It's not just to know about the bird that cannot fly. It's also about some information about the bird that it lays the largest eggs. So this time let me choose ostrich and see check. So once I say check, I get the notification which says correct. So here the student gets 10 points, which I should let you know. The first feature is the pause button. For example, the student has answered 2 questions, and also note that whenever a student answers, the number turns to green. So this is a green circle here, and the ones that you see in gray are yet to be answered. So these are the answered questions. So now a student wants to answer and then take a break. So my stems are used to make sugar. I'm tall and have juicy stems is the hint. The student chooses sugar cane and wants to check the answer, which is correct. And now the student wants to take a pause, maybe for lunch, dinner, or he has to go out to play. So the student will hit the pause button here. So once you hit the pause button, you can go back to the overview, go back to the screen where there are activities, take a break, and when you come back from the break, you should again come back to the same activity by logging in the activities page and then start activity, say go, and now the student will see the next question appearing here. That means the 3 questions have already been saved, so you can go and check. So all these have saved, including the answer on sugarcane, and then you can proceed. Which plant climbs on walls? Creeper. Go and check. Next. So this is what the student can do. The other feature is the questions keep shuffling from user to user. So if this question on medicinal plant with bitter leaves is number 5 here, it could be number 8 for some other student, it could be number 11 for some other student, or it could be 1 for another student. So the questions keep shuffling. Even the answer options keep shuffling. It need not be in the same order. For the other user, it could be aloe vera could be at the top, mint could be at the bottom, and so on. So this is to ensure that no 2 students sit together and start an activity and then copy each other's work that they do. And one more important thing, if the student does not use the app or keeps it inactive for more than 30 minutes, the session expires. In that case, the student will have to re-log into the app and start using it. Now coming back to the student Anvita, she has now come to the 17th question. It says, I give you eggs to eat and I say, look. So she knows the answer because she looks at the image and then she answers here as hen. I live in a coop is the hint for this question, and she clicks on check. So once this is checked and you say submit, she completes one of the activities of level 1, and it says Anvita has answered 18 out of 18 questions and scored 140 points out of 180 points. So as I said, each question gives 10 points if answered correctly the first time. So in this case, there are 4 questions that Anvita has not answered correctly the first time. And also remember, unless and until the student clicks on the right answer, the student does not move to the next question. So the student knows what is the right answer before moving to the next question. At any given point in time, the student can check the completed activities as well as check the scores and also the leaderboard. The leaderboard shows top 3 students from that particular cohort or the batch who have scored the highest points. So let us check the scores first. And this score is for the level, not for the activity. So level 1, she is yet to complete 2 more activities. So she says 140 out of 410 points have been scored by Anvita in level 1 so far. Clicks on activities that are completed. She will see which animal or bird am I in green with a green border here. And then when she clicks on view leaderboard, she will see the top 3 students who have scored these points, but for the level, not for the activity. Attempting the second activity in that particular level, which is what plant am I? She has already answered 9 questions, and this is the 10th question. My leaves are used to make chai. So she knows the answer. She says tea plant. And the hint is I'm grown in the hills. And say check. It says correct answer. And then she moves to the last question for that particular activity called what plant am I? So I grow in water and I have pink flowers. So she knows the answer again, though she does not need to check the hint. She knows that it's India's national flower. So she chooses lotus and says check. And since it's the last question, it has to be submitted. So in this particular activity, she has answered 11 out of 11 questions, all questions, and she has scored 100 points, which means she did not answer one question correctly the first time. And then back to the overview, and like before, she can check what are the scores that she has achieved, the leaderboard, which will be the same as shown last time, and also it will show what are the completed activities. So you see 2 of them now being bordered green, and she can see the score for both activity 1 and activity 2 combined. So 240 out of 410. She has one more activity to complete. Now entered the third activity in level 1, which is which flower, fruit, vegetable am I? So she has to read the description in detail before proceeding to answer the questions by clicking on go. So the first question for this activity is which vegetable is round and green? Most of the students will be able to answer looking at the picture, but yet it is better to look at the hint so that you get more information about the question. It says it is often used in salads. Cucumber is the right answer here, I think. Yeah, it's correct. Then move to the next one. I am white on top and green below. Assuming she is slightly confused about the question or the answer, she clicks on cabbage and does a check. So it says wrong answer, please try again, which means she does not get points for this particular question. The right answer actually is cauliflower, which says correct, and then she moves on to the next question and so on and so forth. Rita is now trying to answer the last question for this particular activity. It says I am a sour green fruit used for pickles. The hint says I am small and round, so she knows the answer and she clicks on lemon, does a check, and then since it's a last question, she has to submit. And remember, this is the last question out of the last activity that she has to attempt, the third activity. In this case, she has answered 12 out of 12, but only 10 questions have been answered correctly the first time. So 2 questions were not answered correctly. So here she gets just about 100 points. Goes back to the review. So after completing an activity, she gets a message. You completed all level 1 activities. Congratulations. So now she can look at the score. Since she has completed level 1, she has achieved 340 points out of 410 points. You can look at the leaderboard, which is the same as we've seen before. It does not change, but here she is not appearing in the leaderboard. But there are other students who have scored more points than her. Is into the second level, which is slightly complicated compared to the first level, though it is still easy, which is again applicable to grade 3 or grade 4 or standard 3 or standard 4 students in a government school. So she starts with which vehicle am I? An activity called which vehicle am I? And again, she has to look for the description, read it carefully, and then proceed. So the question for which vehicle am I? The first question is which vehicle travels very fast on roads? Obviously the car. The hint is it has 4 wheels. So she does a check. And the answer is correct. Vita has now completed almost all the activities of level 2. Now she is in the last activity, which is identify from nature, and she has now entered the last question. I fall from the sky in droplets, and she looks for the hint. Farmers depend on me for crops, and she chooses rain. So that's the correct answer. So since this is the last question for the activity and also for the level, let's see what happens after submitting. So she has answered 13 out of 13 questions and scored 165 points. So here she gets 15 points for each correct answer in level 2. So she has answered 2 of them wrong. So I'll go back to the overview. And now she gets a congratulations message, which has completed all activities for the curriculum and earned a certificate. Curious to know about a level score and also to check if she is in the leaderboard, whether she is in the top 3, and also look for the completed activities. So now she is also mapped to financial literacy basic level course and also general knowledge quiz basic level course, which she can do later. But before that, before downloading the certificate, she wishes to look at her score. And she has scored 630 out of 690 points for level 2, and as we know, she had scored 340 out of 410 points in level 1, and she has completed all the activities which are now appearing in the green border. Provision for the student to review the activity, that is to check what has been answered to each of the question. So the student has to click on review activity here and then click on go. So here the student can see what has been answered to each of the question. This is hen, and then can go back and check all the answers. Next. So that way the student can check the answers given for each of the question. Can look for the leaderboard, but again Anvita is in the top 3, you can see here, so she must be very happy after seeing the score. So she has entered the top 3, and now she can go back by clicking on this button. She is now all set to download her certificate, so she has to go all the way down and look for my certificates. So this is the first certificate that she has got. She will also get certificate number 2 if she completes financial literacy course, and she will get certificate number 3 after she completes general knowledge quiz. So now she will click on this button here. So this is the certificate that she can view, and she can also download by clicking on the download certificate button. So this is the certificate that Anvita has downloaded either on a phone or on a laptop or a desktop or even a tablet. Now this brings us to the conclusion of the demo on the activity-based learning module, or ABLE, which is a visual learning tool packed with interactive quizzes on topics such as spoken English, financial literacy, general knowledge, and many more. I'm confident that government school students will truly enjoy exploring and learning through this engaging module on the Sulabh app. Thank you so much.